Alright, we're back working on the M40A3 Sportline rifle. This is the OEM piston, stock piston. I haven't upgraded it. I'm not going to until it fails, and maybe someone will have brought more upgrade parts for this rifle to the market at that time. If not, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So I want to show you guys a couple mods you can do to the stock piston to get it to perform pretty well. A lot of times you'll see me on Facebook talking about adding weight to the piston, and if you're not familiar with that, it's basically just exactly that. We're just adding weight to the piston. I'm going to get my scale to work here. So let's see, we can do ounces. So stock, it's about half an ounce. So the best way to add weight to it, well, there's probably the best way is lead golf tape, which I don't have any of that at the moment. So I've done some of my BSR pistons with that lead golf tape, and it's pretty good. But I do have solder, so by wrapping the solder around there as nice and neat and as I can, I mean, that pretty much doubled the weight right there. I'm also going to be doing a can mod to the piston, so that adds a little bit of weight, not very much at all. So yeah, let's get to it. So the best way to wrap this solder, this stuff is pretty flexible, so is you just start at one end and get it on there. You can keep pushing it down and rolling it tight. It does look a little messy, but you just keep pushing it down, pulling it tight, and just like so. So there we go. Not the neatest thing in the world. You can add more weight to it, certainly. You can get a little thicker solder and put that on, but you do not want to come past this point. I know this is probably pretty obvious, but I just want to say it anyways. So what I'll do to finish this is put some electrical tape over it, so that way it doesn't come unraveled or anything. And I'll be right back. Okay, so you can spend as much time as you want on this, make it look as nice as possible. I have used heat shrink tubing before on some other jobs like this. There is a risk that the electrical tape could come loose, especially with the grease getting down on it. I'm not worried about it. I don't think it's going to damage anything. If it does, I'll just take care of that if it happens. Alright, so the can mod, basically what you do is you cut a piece of aluminum can, you roll it up, and it basically shims the inside. And I just roll it until it gets as tight as possible so it's easy to slip in there. Slip it in there. And what that does is makes it so the spring has no room to slap the inside of the piston. It really takes care of that twang noise and helps quiet down your shot. So just make sure it's clear. And use those measurements and you should come out with the right size piece. Otherwise it's trial and error until you get the right size. Alright, so I do have the Action Army M150 spring in mine, and I've been using it for a while. A couple people have told me that their Action Army, the VSR springs are too short, but here's the stock spring. I mean, they're identical to me, so I don't know what springs people have been getting, but the VSR springs do fit in here perfectly. Okay, so when you get the can mod installed, just make sure you have enough room for this part of the spring stop to go into the piston. It's going to be hard to press it all the way in, but that actually needs to compress all the way in there. And if the can is in the way, I'll pick that up in a second. If the can is in all the way, or out all the way, it will restrict it. So make sure you actually get the can to start right about in that area there, and that should allow it to work properly. Okay, everything's should be ready to roll. We're just going to install this piston. I'll put some grease here on this O-ring just to help it keep a better seal. I use Super Lube silicone grease. Before I got this grease, I used to use dielectric grease from an auto parts store, which is it's a silicone grease from what I understand, so it should work. Use a fair amount of Teflon tape around these threads. And I use needle nose, but be careful not to mar up this nozzle tip, or you will mess up your seal on the hop-up bucking. And I'm actually going to leave this thing not screwed in all the way for a reason. Some people have said that they've had a sealing problem on their bucking. So I just want to demonstrate that with enough Teflon you can not screw this thing in all the way, and you will allow yourself quite a bit of penetration into the bucking, which should really help for that. And if you needed to, you can add super glue around the nozzle to widen the nozzle a little bit. Okay, so like I was saying, I left this out quite a bit just to prove a point that you can penetrate the hop-up bucking further if you wanted to. So here's everything installed and put together. And just cover your finger over the edge, pull the trigger, and you should get 100% air seal every time. There you go. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, if you have any other topics you want to get into, I will get into the hop-up on this gun, so that's coming. But if you have any other questions or areas of concern, just let me know and I'll try to address those. Please like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you.